And we are recording. Hi, everybody. This is David P. France, and I'm coming to you from Basel, Switzerland. Before we get started, I would like everyone that is watching us to like the videos, subscribe to the YouTube or BitChute channel, and also share the videos, like the videos and share the videos with your family and friends. Let them know what we're up to. This is David P. France TV, and we are profiling artists, all types of artists, inventors, thought leaders, small business owners, and entrepreneurs. And today, I'd like to introduce someone to you who I've been in contact with her for, I don't know, like how many years now? Many, many years, off and on, like 7, maybe it was like 7.
Maybe 10, maybe 10.
This is Stephanie Van Burk. Stephanie is in Los Angeles. She's actually from Geneva, Switzerland. And I met her, one of the first people that I met when I started doing photography in Switzerland. Stephanie, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, well, I'm doing well, and I'm thank you for agreeing to come on and speak with us. I've been wanting to reconnect with you for a while, as you know, and we talked about this yesterday. Stephanie, I'm going to let you tell the audience, you know, your background, your career, but Stephanie is still a model, and she's also a clothing designer, and she's just an overall creative. She's one of the most creative people that I've met in Switzerland, for sure. But now she lives in Los Angeles, and you have been there for how many years now?
Like almost 7.
7 years.
Yeah. It's a long time.
7 years.
Yeah, almost 7.
So I met you right before you moved to LA.
Maybe
no. 2 years.
Maybe a little more. You met
Really?
me like in my in my 30s. Like I moved like when I was 39. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
So tell us more about yourself. Tell us what you're up to now, and then we start. We'll double back. We'll go backwards and ask you about your upbringing and how you came up and how you got discovered.
Well, right now I'm living in Los Angeles. Well, as you know, I'm from Switzerland. I'm from Geneva, so my main language is French. I am a very, very creative child. I've always been. I started when I was very young to paint. I used to paint landscapes and do a lot of portraits and using all kind of oil or painting or ink or whatever. And I started to do clothing when I was a little older, you know, like just by my hands, because I wanted to have something like special, you know, unique that you wouldn't see nowhere, especially when I was a model. Because of course, I became a model. I have been scouted, as you know, several times. So the first time was one time when I went in vacation, actually, with my mom, and I think it was in France. Oh, it was in Italy. I've been scouted with the manager of how is it called, the actor of the Big Blue, and
okay, Jean
Reno. It's Jean Reno. So he was there, Jean Reno, with his manager in the same place that I was, and I ate with Jean Reno and his manager, and the manager was explaining me this whole world of modeling and things like that. And he used to manage, you know, all these singers like from France and actors and some models probably, and that's why he wanted me to go in Paris and start to be a model. But at that time I was like not even 13. Like I was just 13 years old, and so my mom thought it was not a great idea. So that's the first time that I've been ever scouted to be a model. And But he called one time and I picked up the phone and he told me, oh, but you should maybe one day, like maybe go in an agency in Geneva or something like that.
Right.
And start like this. And actually, I didn't thought about it, like I let it go. And when I was 15 though, I went, I called an agency in Geneva and I got my first job with McDonald's, and I did a billboard everywhere in Switzerland. I went everywhere in Switzerland and in Italy and in France. And so that was my first job basically. And nothing. Then I moved in Canada for some reasons, and I got scouted a second time in Canada. Like it was not like a real job for me. You know, I was very young. They told me, "Oh, you can do this." I don't know. I just wanted to see what it was, and that's why I went in this agency in Switzerland. And that's about it.
So when you went to Canada, you were in Montreal for. Right?
Yes.
And how did that develop? Did the people, you were just minding your business and someone comes up and says, hey, you should be a model? Is that the way it went?
Yeah, I was in the street walking and somebody came up to me and gave me the card and told me he was a scout for this agency, and I ended up to go. Finally, I was already 19, 18 and a half or 19. So I went to this agency and I started to work, and I was working pretty well. I was doing like the shows for Chanel, etc., etc. That was great, you know. And then because it was never enough for me, I was an ambitious little, you know. So I was fascinated by New York City, but not for modeling. I was fascinated by New York City for the buildings and everything. You know, when you're 19, you're coming from Switzerland, you live in Montreal, you think only one thing: I want to go in New York City. So I went to New York City and I was fascinated with these big buildings and everything. You know, I was 19 and or 20. I just turned 20 or something. And I had 4 pictures in my book from Montreal and I brought it with me. And I decided by the same way that I would go there for the first time that I would go visit some agency. And of course, I pointed on the best one and I started with Ford. And at the time, Ford was an excellent agency and was directed by Eileen Ford.
Yes, of course.
So, yeah. So I went.
Yes.
So I went actually before it happened, I got scouted a 3rd time in New York by a manager that was managing, you know, like celebrities. And he wanted me to. He gave me his card and everything, but you know, New York, I don't know. It ended up like this. I was the 3rd time, but I went myself to Ford. I give my book at the entrance to the people, you know, that receive you. And they sent then the book to the booking room, and the booking room invited me to come, and they made me sign the contract like in 2 seconds, and I got the contract with them. And this is how it went. Yeah. And then I started, I started to work, and I just started something more serious, let's say. It was more serious then. Then I went in Italy, you know.
I think it's fascinating. And the reason why, let me tell you why I think it's fascinating, because you got scouted more than once. But then also the fact is that you're a creative person, right? So I think it's interesting that, I mean, they could have just gotten somebody who was more like a math genius, or it's as if the stars align, not just once, but twice, but 3 times. Like it happens again. And then also when you and I met, and I did some photos with you, you're rather you're a tall person. You're like a 5'9.5", it seems. Like you're not
Yeah.
you're not short at all, right? So in other
No.
words, even your height, you were probably that tall when you were a teenager, right? I mean,
Yes, I
it
was
all
very,
fit. It
very
all
tall when
fit.
I was.
Yeah. So how long
Yeah,
were
no.
you? How long were you in New York modeling? I mean, how long did this go for?
Well, I came and I went back and I came back, like this basically. I was going to do go and sees and stuff like that, and then I came back in Montreal and then I got scouted eventually in Montreal by an agency from Italy that was a very good agency. At the time, I don't know if they changed name or anything. I think they became a woman or something. I don't know. But I got scouted by this very good agency in Milan. So what happened? I just went to Milan.
But let's say
So
when you first got the McDonald's commercial, because I'm going to show you guys some of the pictures that Stephanie has given us to show. But when I saw the McDonald's picture, I thought, I mean, you look like a little girl there, right? Right. And then the person at least knew what they were doing in terms of saying, okay, I can see this person being them up. But you look like a little girl there, right? You are a little girl or a young person. And then what you grew into was subsequently exactly what the whole modeling thing is about. Do you understand what I mean? Like, so if I would have seen you on the street, like in the McDonald's commercial, I would not have guessed that you would have evolved to this point. And you guys will see, I'll show you the photos. There's some great photos she has. But I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, in your mind, you said you weren't really thinking about it either, but you were ambitious in some respect because you traveled to these different places in order to,
but
for
it
what?
was
For
also
work
like,
or adventure?
yeah,
Or
but it was also because I wanted to be alone. Like I wanted to be independent, and that's also mainly why I did modeling, and I had the chance to do it, so I could travel some countries and visit some place and meet a lot of people. And I really love to socialize. That's why in this moment it's kind of like, I mean, it's hard, So it was perfect for me. I really loved it. I met so many people from so many countries, also the other models and everything. So I've been living like 3-4 months in other culture, in other countries. But it was great. I really enjoyed it. And it was a big adventure. And I was really thirsty of adventure and new things. And I'm still a little bit like that, like I could jump on an airplane and go like, I don't know where. This is mainly, this is a little bit how I am made. So I have this things, but yes, this is more why I did it. And of course I kind of like it. It was very like creative, also working with all those peoples, that do like those garments. And I always love, designers and and all this. Basically, it was not just a makeup artist or hairdresser. They are creative. We were like type of blank canvas, and they could create on us. But I had always this creative side of me, so it was not enough for me.
I understand, because that was more or less the time that you and I met, right? Because I was trying to find my way. You had already found a way, but you were looking to get to another way, right? So we kind of collided in a nice way, right? I'm going to share the screen so that we're going to go through the photos, and then we're going to talk about more about this. I call it restlessness, creativity that you have, because you are. I was. I will say that I was surprised at how strong you were about this, pursuing more creativity in terms of your path. So occasionally when I would see you on social media or whatever, I would say, "Oh, look, she's doing that. Oh, okay." That's the way that I keep track of all of the people that I work with at some point. I don't like, it's not an everyday thing, but if I happen to see, I say, "Oh, okay, look at that. Oh, okay." Then I put it in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
So now we have an opportunity to actually talk. So let's go to the shared screen. Yeah. And we're going to start. Can you see?
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
I see it.
All right. I don't know where I am.
You're in McDonald's. So this is a picture, basically me when I was 17 or 16, sitting in a coffee shop in Lausanne, Switzerland, that my dad took, and behind of me it's my billboard in little.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you were walking around Switzerland, did people recognize you as the McDonald's girl, or that did not?
Yeah,
they did. Yeah. That's the McDonald's girl. All right, so now you guys.
That was funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and this one, these are not in any particular order, right? I just picked them sort of really quickly.
Yeah.
So tell us what this is about.
All right. So this is not a long time ago. This has been shot in Los Angeles at the Walt Disney musical. No, not musical. How do you call that? Philharmonicus.
The big
thing.
Yeah, the big building. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, exactly. This one by Nona. I forgot her last name. That's bad. But it has been shot like maybe 4 years ago or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 4 years ago more. Yeah.
Okay. This one is an earlier one, no?
This was just before I came in LA. So it's 7 years ago. And it was in Milan. It has been shot in Milan. And I had those hair very special that I had this amazing hairdresser called Nicola Morriconi in Italy that was doing always my hair. And yeah, that was a special, yeah, it's in Italy. I had my last agency in Italy, by the way. I have to say my mother agency and my last agency was in Milan, and I dropped it all when I came to LA.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, my agency called me the last time, and I was in LA. They want me to, because I was booked for a show in Milan for Tom Rebel, and I think, and they just told them that I was in LA, and that's it, Okay. This was shot here in LA, and it has been featured in a magazine, in one of those online magazines.
Yeah.
That is called Pump magazine, shot but by Leo Vu, amazing photographer, very good friend of mine. Yeah.
Okay, next. This is the one that I took, you guys.
This is my good friend.
This is the one I took. We had a great photo shoot. It was one of the most, I was just starting out, so it was a surreal experience. And what I started to realize is that I had some ability to capture images. So I was just as shocked. I was shocked by meeting you. I was shocked that I was actually doing it. I was like, oh my God, look. And I haven't done it as much because I've been doing other things, but having conversation with you, helps me to keep and be inspired and to pick it back up when I have a chance.
Yeah,
you remember this, right? We were in a hotel in Geneva.
That was a great day. I remember very well. That was a great day. We had so much fun with the lamp also. That was like kind of old lamp. That was beautiful. Yeah. I really love those photos. Yeah, I remember everything.
Yeah, I gotta find the rest. I don't know where they are. They're somewhere around in the old computer. Okay.
Yeah.
And this one here, this is like an old Polaroid, kind of has an old look to it.
Yeah, but it's not old. It's very new, actually. And it has been shot a couple of years ago. That has been featured in Naked magazine, and it has been shot. My God, yeah, a couple of years ago. Sorry, yeah, that's it. And it's shot in Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles, how do you feel about being shot nude? I mean, some models, you know, frown upon it, but you seem to say, hey, you know, I can do it.
Well, yeah, when I was younger, I would be more concerned, and I would not really shoot naked or stuff like that. But you know, like more and more you're doing modeling and things, you have to go on catwalk. I've done catwalk, like really important shows in Milan, etc., etc. And you know, you don't have time to think that you're naked or not. So you take off your underwear and you pass your dress and stuff. You have people that dress you up. You know, it's kind of like you become this person that is a little bit not attached too much about the body. Like you don't have any more like this problem with like being ashamed of you and stuff like that, because there's no point. You know, we all are the same basically at the end. And that's why I don't have many problems, and I think it's good, you know, like even I think it's not a bad thing. You feel maybe more even free, and you have less problem, like just to be free, with your own body. And now I can shoot naked. I don't have problems. I think it's a great thing for the people. It helps people that have maybe some issues. It's a good to promote human diversity also, because I'm also 46 and I'm fine, you know, with it. And
hey, look. I'm still trying to deal with the kind of body issues. I don't have the typical body issues, but I do, right? So, you know, I'm thinking, okay, I need to do my push-ups, I need to stretch, as someone who wants to continue to perform, you know. But I think the ultimate challenge for most people is to be photographed nude. That's a huge challenge, and if you can master that and feel great, then.
But yeah, exactly. This is, you know, like even if you have a little bit overweight, you know, it's not that you're ugly, you're like very charming. It depends the way you take it, you know, and how you show it to the other. If you feel guilty of yourself, not guilty, but ashamed of yourself, you will transmit this this feeling to the others, you know. And of course, it's not a good feeling, but if you feel like good with yourself, you know, it's great. And it helps also other people. Maybe if you're like a little bit overweight, you know, it helps also the other people that are feeling a little bit overweight to feel better about it, about themselves. It's a very important thing, and I think everybody should feel great about their own selves, you know. I think it's really important, and the more you go also in age, the more you have to try to feel good with yourself.
I hear you. All right, let me go to the next photo.
That's why I open actually a Patreon. I open a Patreon.
Yeah. We can talk about that. You have a whole how do you say? It's almost like a curated platform.
Yeah. This one was shot in Paris. This one was shot in Paris. I was 42, and so it was a couple of years ago, and it was in my queer moment, you know. Yeah, it was in my queer moment. So you can see I have short hair. I have a video a little bit about it where I quite look like a little bit David Bowie. They put the David Bowie song, like you can find it on my YouTube channel. And it's a great video shot in Paris. And Yeah, it's my queer moment. I mean, my queer moments, my queer years, you know, because we all go through different phases in life, and I have to admit that I did too.
Yeah. We go
Yeah.
back to that. We get through the photos in terms of the queer moment. I think part of what I see with you, and I'll touch on this, but I'm going to go to the next picture so we can, is that you're a really creative person, and I think that it doesn't stop with. It just doesn't stop. I think that's what it is. It just, you know what I mean. You are very fluid, and I'm not just saying in terms of sexuality. It is like you have the ability to change. Yeah, and we'll show some of the
Yeah.
photos so you can see in the images. They look different. Each one of them looks different. Yeah, I mean, not everyone can do this kind of chameleon type, and that's what I think is so surprising. I mean, this is a long way from the girl at McDonald's. You understand what I mean? Like, it is
Oh, yeah.
fascinating. It's fascinating that they picked it up. You know, they say, "Oh, we got to scout this girl." You know, but who would have thought the girl at McDonald's would, you know, turn out to be like this? Okay, so this is a photo
So
from where?
this is shot in LA. This has been featured in Cake magazine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is Jessica that shot it. There is another one that has been featured in Photo Vogue though. Photo
Mm-hmm.
Vogue. You know Photo Vogue. Like sometimes you can be featured in Photo Vogue, not in Vogue magazines, but in Photo Vogue. And but this one, I think it went in Cake, or I don't remember. This Sari went in
Yeah.
Cake magazine.
And do you,
Yeah.
like, now that you're in LA, a lot of the times people will approach you. Are these with, you know, they're not super paid, high paid jobs like you would get in Milan or New York or so. The industry is a bit different in Los Angeles, right?
Um, I I'm gonna tell you the truth. I have never worked in LA yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have been shooting with artists. I've been collaborating with artists, but I don't have an agent.
Yeah, yeah.
The from the day that I quit Italy, I never had an agent again. I mean, I had an agent, but it was kind of like for movie and stuff, but I've never really truly worked.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm just looking forward to get maybe an agent that could represent me and that could make me work again, because
Yeah,
that would be a great idea, you
yeah.
know?
Sure. And
Yeah. So
this one here, this photo, is also from LA, no?
no, this one was shot in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the photographer shot us in the park, and then she painted on the photo.
Okay. Do
Yeah.
you remember the artist's name? Do you know?
I'm sorry.
It's no
You
problem.
know, it's years ago. It's really difficult. Well,
Mm-hmm.
this I know the artist's name. Um, because it's not a long time ago. It's Louis Aguilar, and this is
What's the name again?
Oh no, it's Yoshino. Yoshino, please, forget about what I said.
Mm-hmm.
It's Yoshino that took this photo.
Okay.
Yoshino. Yoshino is one of the most amazing artists to me in Los Angeles.
I
Really,
see.
I have to say, yeah, he's brilliant.
Great. It's a great shot. It's a great shot.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
brilliant, literally.
And
This was in New York, 3 or 4 years ago. I don't damn, I don't remember the name. I'm sorry. This
no.
is really bad.
But what I liked about the photo is yeah, I mean, like, it's like you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like you really seem to be able to And this is what I got. Remember when you and I went out on the street? We were in the hotel, and then we took some photos out on the street, and I was like, holy shit, this woman has a lot of energy, right? Got some really good shots there too. People were coming up and and I said, wow, okay. Whoa. So, you know, in other words, I knew that there was more, right? I knew that I had only scratched the surface. I don't know if you can see me doing this with my hand, but I
can
had
see
only
you.
scratched the surface, you see. Anyway, let me go to the next.
Yeah.
These are from way back.
Oh, yeah. This was when I was they paint my hair in black, in blue black, and I worked so much when I had the hair blue black for like 3 or 4 years because it was bizarre, probably, you know, like weird because I'm so white and I have blue eyes, you know, so. I worked a lot like this. This was for R1 in Italy. I shot this in Italy for their catalog.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
This is another.
This was this was just like a catalog for cashmere. It was shot in Italy also for my Maria Sartini.
Yeah. And this is another
in 2000. This is another R1. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see you have a certain look here, like
in Milan.
Yeah. This is hot. I see. I mean, I see. Now this one here, this is I put this in because this is kind of when I met you. You were developing your own line of clothing, and I was like, oh, she designs as well, huh?
Yeah.
And then again, I was watching from afar, like, what's she doing now?
Yeah, so this has been shot in Paris, and I was wearing my own dress that I created and my own necklace that I created.
Well, look at that. This shot, now this is another one of my favorite.
Yeah, this has been shot like a couple of years ago in LA. But I brought all this, you know, like a fabric, and I, you know, how I am.
Yes. Look at this one, you guys. Yeah. This one's a favorite. Where was this taken?
In LA. It was a couple of months ago.
Really?
Yes.
This is good. There's another version of this I'm going to get to later.
Yeah.
This one's also good. This does great lines, great black and white.
Paris.
Not so long ago either, right?
No, not so long ago. My queer period.
Yeah. Let's go to the next. Yeah. This is when you were younger.
Yes, and it was shot in Milan.
Milano. Let's go. Yeah. This is one of your jackets.
Oh yeah, my lollipop jacket. They're on sale actually right now. Yeah, they're on sale, 60% off. I have to say, I love to do abstract expressionism. So it's as you know, like I'm a big creative, and this is what I was missing, I think, in the whole modeling world.
Yeah.
Because I used to be a drawing and a painting little girl, and this is where I put all my healing of my own self. You know, I put all my. This is where I can heal and I can express myself fully. I can put all my anxiety, I can put all my happiness, my joy, my problems, my whatever you want. But this is that way that I'm gonna feel better. Yeah,
oh, yeah, clearly.
When I paint, it's just I put a little touch of blue because I feel this is gonna be blue, and I put the yellow because I don't know, because I feel that I have to lighten the I don't know, my heart. It's all coming from my heart basically when I paint. It's really deep.
This is ignorant of me, but what is vegan leather? It's it comes from cows that are fed a certain
no, vegan leather, it means it's not in leather. It's just because it's not in leather basically. Okay. It's vegan leather. It's better a kind of a pure leather, like fake leather, but it's a good one, a good version.
Okay.
of it.
This is another jacket
Yes.
that you
Oh yeah.
painted. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's another
This one I
one
think is
still.
interesting. Yeah, I pulled this one from your social media. I was 19 and I just started seriously my modeling career, and I got scouted for the second time in Montreal.
Yeah. I told you about that for the
Yeah,
second time I've been
you look
scouted, and then
like
the
an
third
old
in
school, like almost like a Hollywood. One looks more like a Grace Kelly-ish on the right, and on the left, it's more like 80s.
Well, on the right was just like a photo with the shots, just to make a shot, and
Mm-hmm.
on the left was for the magazines. Basically, it was the same shooting.
Mm-hmm.
For the magazine Clin d'Oeil.
Yeah.
It was under my agency in Montreal, and I
Mm-hmm.
was 19.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is another version of the photos from the first
Yeah, a
one.
couple of months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, sehr good, as they say. Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah, I love flowers. You know, it's inspired me for my jackets mainly, so that's why.
Now, this one I
This
like.
was a couple of months. Yeah.
These are all
tell me.
recent. The reason why I like it is the movement and dance, and you know, this is what I do. And had I known you were this creative, for our photo shoot, I would have brought something like this. But this is a great shot. Do you know the photographer who shot this?
Yes, the photographer is Fabien Benamou. He is from France. He is a great friend of mine, and he does amazing photos. This is my creation. The dress that you see, it's all in silk. I draw it and I made it in Italy, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I brought my whole collection. This was my first collection. I brought my whole collection here in America. And this has been shot literally downtown LA.
Yeah, I can tell. It's a
And on the side there is a freeway.
Mm-hmm. This is another picture.
Yeah,
another one I like a
yeah.
lot.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. I love it too.
Yeah, it's nice. It's very nice.
Yeah.
This is another shot that I did, yours truly, but I did not do the black and white. Someone else did it, and it turned out really well.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, it turned out really well. I think this is the last photo. Let me stop sharing. We're gonna go back.
It's lovely. Yeah, it's a lovely photo
look,
you did.
man.
I love this photo. It's really cute. Yeah.
Stop shot. Let's see. There I am. So like, what? Say what?
I was saying about this photo. I was wearing a vest. Oops, I'm sorry. I was wearing a vest. Sorry, I'm sorry. Oops.
Yeah.
I was wearing a vest that I created already, but I was
the black with the flower, right?
Yes, but I was tying like this, the black. Yeah. But I was not yet a designer.
Well, look, it is just looking at the photos and seeing the photos. I mean, I'm so glad that we did this and put it together, because just having you talk about it brought some things out. It's not that I didn't know, but it just made me feel. I feel like, how do I feel? I feel like I was doing the right. I feel like I was doing the right thing when I met you. Does that make sense? Because I was trying to find people that were super creative that I could photograph, and and I wasn't really sure. Like, Dave, do you know how to do this? Okay, let's try. And then you were so open, and your energy was very, very different than what I had encountered in Switzerland. So yeah. So let's go back to Los Angeles. So your move to Los Angeles was, I think, what I believe, you were restless, you wanted more creativity, and you explain to the audience why, or what you thought the move to LA would do for you.
Well, I'm gonna be very honest. Should I?
Say that again. Say it louder.
Should I be very honest for what reason I moved to LA? Well, I moved to LA because I met somebody. I met a girl, And it was the first time of my life that I would fall really for a girl, and she was living in LA. That's why I came to see her, and I ended up to stay in the country.
And
That's
at the
why.
time, I think that you and I reconnected, at least after the photo shoot. This is how we reconnected, right? I mean, I remember having
Yeah.
either a phone call with you or something like this, and I said, "Oh, okay." But look, Stephanie, as you know, I mean, I have similar, I have similar. I was in a similar situation, right? So I'm here in
Yeah, I
Switzerland.
remember.
I
I
moved to
remember.
I moved to Switzerland in terms of a similar way, and I ended up staying, right? So I've
I
been
know.
here for 13 years now,
So we know.
right? So
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah,
I mean, I remember. I don't know if you remember this, but I think there were I sensed that you were a bit. There was a bit of anxiety, and I was like, look, like I'm going through the same thing, there's no
yeah,
issue, and I think
yeah,
that
yeah.
that at least made me feel like my decision to connect with you was the right decision even more, no?
Yeah,
So
I agree. Yeah.
yeah, you stayed out in LA after, you've been there ever since, no?
Yes, I've stayed here. I moved out from the house. I separate with this person, and now I'm happy and super. So I'm so happy because I met an amazing man.
Hmm. Now, in terms of you being open about this, it's like, what do you think when you said you went through a phase, or like, so what did you think that you experienced uh, during the last
Well,
years? Have
w-
you had time to
um,
think about
like,
it?
what do you mean by that
Meaning, like,
exactly? What's your question?
I can tell you what I experienced, right? So,
Oh, well,
I
I was, yeah.
yes, yes.
No, tell me.
No, I mean, I learned who I was. I learned what I liked and what I didn't like. I
Yeah,
learned
I exactly same.
I learned that I would have to be okay with myself no matter what
Yeah,
other people thought. I
yeah,
realized that
to
I
accept
had
yourself.
not discovered or really acknowledged all of the different gifts that I had, because I was so concerned about what other people were thinking. And then I say, okay, I really have to be comfortable with myself, confident with myself, and that's the number
Accept.
one thing.
Yeah, to accept yourself the way you are.
To accept however it is. That's
Not
that's
being
the biggest lesson.
embarrassed. Yeah, not being embarrassed and all this stupid
And not
stuff
being
that are just
embarrassed.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're just like threatening your life for nothing, because at the end people don't care.
No, they
That's
don't.
the
No.
thing. That's the trick. They care about their life. They don't care about watching you. They don't watch you even, like
Yeah. I
it's
think
like
it's
wind.
yeah, well, yeah, I think now it's easier said, it's easier said now,
Yeah.
right? But back then,
Oh yeah.
when you have a
Oh, we're
limited,
younger.
view of what life is about and sort of how things work in life,
Oh yeah.
you put a lot of value in what other people think. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
But we are
But I think,
younger, that's why,
in the line of work, particularly for both of us, it actually helps. It actually helped
Yes.
that I went
Oh
through
yeah.
this process. No.
For me too. I
Yeah.
learn a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
I learn a lot. I learn a lot about myself. I learn a lot about my family, even. I learn a lot about some issues that I could have. And I learn a lot, basically.
Yeah.
To be honest, this experience from Los Angeles taught me a lot, like a lot. I never knew, I've never seen, uh, before I thought the world was not, was in a certain way. when I arrived in Los Angeles, after what I've lived and after what I've seen, I understood that the world was not the way I was looking. The world had many aspects that could be very different.
Yeah, sure. So because
Yeah.
you know, even for someone in the United States, when they moved or when they visit California, it's a big culture change, culture shock, culture jump.
Shock. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And
Yes. Yes.
what's interesting about Switzerland is when I was here and I was with this particular person, I was protected in some way. And then when the relationship was over, then I had to learn things on my own. And
Oh
this is
yeah.
when I started to really, you know, get stronger, get better at you know, knowing myself. And look, for a very long time, it was dark. Like when I say it was
I know.
it was dark. But
I know.
it is what it is, and I'm very happy that I'm at this point now. And I can see as well, for you, it's been a good move.
Oh yeah, it has
It's been a
been. It
good
has
move.
helped me a little bit, to understand what's going on, like in the world, basically, because I was blind before.
Wow. Even though you had all that experience going from place to place, or country to country, and LA was just a
Yeah,
different.
but LA, it's a big, different type of city, and there is so much people here, so many people here. Like Los Angeles is like just Los Angeles is like the whole Switzerland,
Right. Yeah,
There's a lot of things that are changing here that are different from
sure.
Switzerland. You know that.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
So this is what I'm saying. Like I just learned that there is another world that I was not aware.
Yeah. And now you're
Yeah.
full in. This is tell us what
Oh
you
yeah.
have you have your one of your jackets on. Is this the question
Oh
is,
yeah.
did you painted
Look at
each
that.
of the what do you call it, the like the arm separate? Is that painted and then sewn, or then how is it? You painted directly onto it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
And then I do some abstract expressionism painting on the back.
And how do you make sure that it's sealed on the jacket? Do you put like some sort of special primer over it or something?
No, this is a painting for leather.
Okay.
So yeah, so there's not it's not something, but after I put a special shiny if I want it shiny, or matte if I want it matte. There's a couple of things that you can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, is there anything else that you would like? I mean, I enjoyed speaking with you and
Me
catching up,
too.
really.
Yeah, me too. Me
Yeah,
too. Really,
we caught
it's
up.
really
Is there
good.
anything else that you
I
would
don't
like
know.
to? The
What we
Patreon,
could.
the
Yeah, my Patreon. My Patreon is a place that where I can express myself fully through art, in different kinds of, also it's nothing um how you would say that, sexual or something. It's just art. And there is a photo, of course, of me naked, but it's really in a good taste. And there is also my jacket. There is art, with it.
Yeah.
And this is where I want to bring people. I want to make people wanting to do more art, because it's kind of like a great place to go if you feel depressed, or if you have anxiety, or if you have something going on, where you go and you create something it's a good place to go instead of destroying yourself. I've seen too many people here and elsewhere destroying themselves You understand, by drugs or by doing drugs and things for not for escaping and avoiding problems. And I propose another way to face your problem is by creating something.
Sure. I'm
And to put
100%
your
in.
emotion, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, so that's why I'm trying to promote this through my platform, like social platform, through my paintings and my jackets. I think, you know, the world needs some color, and especially right now, the world is so gray. It really needs some color and some a bit of happiness, because well,
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, of course. I remember. Do you
You
remember
know.
do you remember when you told me, "What are you doing in Switzerland? You should be somewhere else." I'm like, okay. Oh yeah, I know.
I know. I know.
But you know what? I will say this: Switzerland has worked out very well. The Swiss people have been fantastic to me. Um, I have no complaints. That's not to say that I'm not open to traveling. You know, when the COVID and this whole thing is over, I'm getting right back on the plane, and we're gonna
Oh
get caught up
yeah,
to
come to
speed, right?
LA.
But you know,
Yeah,
I'm
that'd be
here for the
great.
long term as well. So
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
good. Well, with that, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so
Yeah, and
much.
I would love to be able to tell to people to look at what I'm doing, my jackets, to hop on my website is www.vanburkofficial.com. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And my Patreon.
Yep.
If you are interested to be part of my world, just, you know, get on my Patreon, and I'll be welcoming you.
We will put all the information, your information, in the
That would be
description box.
awesome.
And
Yeah, that would
then
be awesome.
we will
I'll
also
be
make sure that when we post a video that we tag each other and that people can see and then talk and things like this. Is that good?
Yes, exactly. Yes,
Right.
that would be awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Stephanie Van Burk.
All right. It was such a pleasure to talk to you,
Yeah.
Dave.
Look, likewise, right? And
yeah,
very
that was
interesting, very interesting. And I hope to see you at some point face to face in the future, now, like when all of this is over and we can get back to
that would
normal.
be, yeah, I would really appreciate that. I would love that. That would
Okay.
be rock and roll.
Look, take care of yourself. Be well. Stay
Take care.
healthy.
Thank you. You
And
too, please.
we'll talk soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.
See you.
Bye.